300 plus brands. How did you get that? Just talk about that.
All right. Hello everyone, and welcome back to episode 3 of our little talk show here. Today we are at the Kenora Rec Center and we're going to be talking about WOLFE installs. But first, I think Brandon's got a few questions for us.
Yes, I do. So you guys got some questions in on Instagram this week. So we're gonna pump through these right away and ask these away, and then we'll jump into the WOLFE installs thing. So
let's do it.
Okay, so we got a question here. They said, how are discounts offered to consistent clients or like multiple events a year? So do you offer any discounts if you have like a returning customer for a bunch of years, or yeah?
Sure. So the most common scenario for this question would be if there's a fundraising event that is taking place multiple times, or if it's a yearly event, or if someone is booking a series of events in 1 year. We do offer a package deal if there is a long-term commitment, or if there is a commitment of several events within a shorter period of time. And we certainly appreciate those people for doing business with us, and we also want to make sure that we're giving them the best deal for the services that they're getting.
Yeah. And then we got another one here. How does travel and transportation come into play, like travel cost-wise?
Okay. So if an event happens within Kenora city limits, there's no additional travel fees or anything like that. It's included in our base rate. However, if there's an event that's taking place outside of Kenora city limits, so that could be in relation to the Kenora area, it could be anywhere down Storm Bay Road, Mackenzie Portage, certain things out on the lake. If we're going out of town into Dryden, Fort Francis, Red Lake, obviously any of those places have travel fees attached. And the way those work is it's all based on the amount of kilometers that we travel outside of Kenora city limits. And then if there's an overnight accommodations involved, that can either be worked out through the clients or we find our own in that regard. So typically based on kilometers outside of Kenora city limits, and then if there's accommodations for lodging and hotel involved. Right.
And then we got one more here. It says, because you asked the question, what should we talk about next? And they said past experiences. So maybe just share a few, or maybe one or two couple like DJ or WOLFE Sound Music stories that are, I don't know, a little bit interesting. Just share a couple stories there. And,
for sure. Yeah, so I think one of my favorite past experiences just happened last summer, and it's always these events that kind of come up out of the blue. And this was actually in relation to live sound. I was in Winnipeg on a Friday night with my brother for an event. And he was playing a gig there, and we got a phone call, and this group from Nashville was doing a show down Storm Bay Road the next day on the Saturday, and it just happened to be the one Saturday, I believe, that I was free last summer, and I was supposed to be in Winnipeg with my brother, but we had to leave Winnipeg at 6 a.m. on that Saturday morning, get to Kenora, get the trailer ready, and to go out to a private party down Storm Bay Road. And it was a great wedding reception / party, and it was just a great time, and we got to meet some really cool people from Nashville, and that was just a fun experience because it all happened within probably a 48-hour time frame, and it was just a blink of an eye, and it was done. And I think another past experience that I remember, well, I guess would be at the rec center here, was our first large primary installation gig. So we did an install here, fixing up their paging system back in December or February, and that was a great time, and just getting to know the crew at the rec center a bit better, and they're all fantastic people. And yes, I think those are a couple cool past experiences, but that Nashville group was definitely a good time. Yeah.
And actually, we're at the rec center today, filming this episode, and we're going to be talking about, that's all the questions, by the way. We're done with that for now.
All right, so please bring more questions.
Yes, please bring more questions for next episode. If you have questions about WOLFE installs or just the company in general, please ask them on Instagram, YouTube, or Facebook.
Sweet.
So we're going to talk about WOLFE installs today. You recently launched a website.
That's right.
WOLFEinstalls, is it .com?
That's right. WOLFEinstalls.com.
WOLFEinstalls.com. You can get it on your phone. You can get it on a computer. Anything that you can search the web on, you can get this website on. Super, super easily laid out. I really love the design he went with. It's super easy to navigate. Yeah, WOLFE installs.
Yeah. Let's talk about it.
300 plus brands.
Yes.
How did you get that? Just talk about that a bit.
All right. So, looking at when we started to do all the prep work for launching WOLFE installs, probably started about 8 months, 6 months before the launch date. And we were looking at all the scenarios in the region and different applications of where audio visual is needed. And, obviously, there's so many different applications and different areas where this can be used. And I'm sure we'll get into that a bit later. But in regards to the 300 brands, we wanted to make sure that we had brands that met everybody's needs. And certainly there's so much out there when you talk about the 4 major different categories that we're dealing with sound, lighting, like video screens, projection, TVs and such, and video conferencing. There's a lot of components that are involved in those systems. And there's several brands that carry fantastic reputations and that have very unique products that meet specific needs. So the diversity of brands for us was a huge component of ensuring that we can meet everybody's needs at the full capacity. We recognize that having the 300 brands was very essential to meet all the needs in the area and certainly meet every single install to our full capacity.
Yeah. So I know you go on your website, you have kind of what your process is, but talk about your like what does an install look like? Like what does an install look like for you?
So the install process all starts with you reaching out to us. If you have a vision for audio visual in your space, you just give us a call or send us an email and we'll start our process. And our first step is that personalized consultation. And it's important that we're able to meet with you, take a look at your space, understand what exactly your needs are and start to get a greater sense for your vision. Our second stage is our custom design. So we're going to take all that information that we just learned about you and your space, and we're going to come back to our studio and get things figured out, and in regards to what equipment we want to use, what are the processes involved, and we'll report back to you with a proposal and a quote, and that would be for your project. And then moving forward with that would be the installation. We would find a date if you're wanting to move forward. We would find a date to do the installation. We would come with our full crew, totally self-sufficient. We show up, we do the job, and we leave, making sure your space is kept nice and clean, just the way we found it. And then the last component of our kind of 4-step process is our ongoing support, which is a huge component that we're so focused on, is making sure that we're there to serve you in the long term. We're not there to install something and run away. We are there to install it. If you have any questions about it down the road, you can make sure to ask us. But maybe we'll touch base on how the client portal ties into this.
Yeah.
Brandon's got a...
Yeah.
What do you think about
Yeah,
that?
yeah, sure.
Talk about that?
So yeah, how does the client, like, does the client portal come into play with installs too, or is that just strictly like DJ service? Or not DJ service, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
DJ live sound. We talked about last episode, we talked about how the client portal integrates with our DJ service and live sound services. But since we already had this platform, we wanted to use this for our installations as well. So with our ongoing support, a big part of it is if you do an installation with us, you're going to get a sign-in to a personalized client portal that's going to have the documentation for the equipment that we installed in your space in it, as well as any other warranty information or documents that you need as the owner of the system, as well as there's going to be a video in there of us walking through how to use your system before we leave the site. So we're going to make sure that that's uploaded and that everything is super clear and exact. And it's always a great spot where you can reference if you have any questions, or like I said, you can always reach out to us, and we're always here to help.
Yeah. So WOLFE installs, the four big things on WOLFE installs is audio, video, conferencing, and lighting. One of those really, really big ones we talked about in the past on the DJ and the live sound too is audio. Because with video comes audio, with conferencing comes audio kind of ties into all of them. So just talk about audio a bit. I know we kind of touched on it on the last episode.
Definitely.
But just give your thoughts on that. Absolutely.
So there's such a large scale of audio applications. So if we were just to run through a couple of those, like some of them can be as small as having a sound bar on your TV in a commercial space. It could be to a fast food chain restaurant where you're having some, in-ceiling loudspeakers and you're having background music. It could be in a restaurant slash bar or club where you have a bit more of a sound system that is capable of pumping out party volume. And or you're getting into larger scale stuff, like we look at the rec center and you're starting to do larger paging systems for commercial spaces. We're capable of doing things like the rec center here in the arena part. So if there's any sort of sports venue, any application where it involves needing to be able to hear an announcer, really any concert venues, concert halls, like you name it, we have all the equipment to do it and all the knowledge. And so there's such a wide scope. It can go from a sound bar to a concert hall, and we're capable of doing anything in that spectrum. So the application is so wide, but there's certainly always a need for quality audio. And no matter how small or how large your application is or your space, we recognize that it is very important that there's high quality audio in all those spaces, no matter how large or small your space is.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one thing you'll see a reoccurring pattern with all of these is your versatility. You can really cater to absolutely any type of person out there. Like whether it's a big business or whether it's a venue or something like that, or it's just a single person wanting to do like That's a man cave setup, you can really cater to absolutely everyone.
Absolutely. And right now during this quarantine where, we're restricted on not being able to provide services for non-essential service-based business. So we've been busy, quoting and designing systems for those who are deemed non-essential at this time. So when we are able to act upon the installs right after this quarantine, we'll be able to serve them. But right now we're quoting for, just like we said, the versatility is we're doing designing and quoting for, full, house systems where people want background music or for a man cave. But then we're also doing large commercial design and installation right now for projects that are planning to come off the ground in the future.
Yep. Okay, and one thing that blew my mind as I was going through your website is how much you actually offer for video. Like there's some stuff that you offer that I didn't even know existed in the video world, specifically your video walls. Like I had no idea that was even a thing until I saw your website. So just talk a bit about that and kind of how or what that is.
And video walls are such a neat, kind of a neat invention. They've been around for quite a while, but the most, current application that we see these in is in airports, right? So if you're going to look at your departing and arriving flights, several TVs are put together to form one larger screen. This is great for many things. Obviously, when you're wanting to display a lot of information, and people are up close to them, or you're wanting to get a large picture at a very high quality. And so we're able to use 4K screens and several of them to form one larger picture. But my favorite part about video walls is that they don't have to be rectangular. It doesn't have to be several screens that form a perfect rectangle or square. They can be designed in any configuration, making them extremely versatile.
Yeah, and that's, again, versatility. Like you can offer a wide variety of video, like just to a simple TV to something more complex. Like with every single category you have on installs, you can really offer pretty much anything that's on the market right now.
That's right. And if you look at the categories on our website, that's really an outline of what we can do.
Yeah.
There's so much in between each category. If you look under audio, video, lighting, and conferencing, there's about 4 categories under each one.
Yeah.
And but that just because there's 4 categories doesn't mean we can't do more than those 4 categories. Those are the 4 big ones, and there's a lot that falls in between.
Right. And one thing too with our area here, and especially Kenora, is conferencing. Like I'm surprised how much conferencing we actually do here. Like whether it's the rec center, the Clarion, schools. Just talk about conferencing a bit and why it's so important in our area.
Absolutely. So video conferencing is something that's been emerging over the course of the past probably 8 years or so, and it's been a really big hit. And obviously during a time like this where we're in isolation, we take advantage of that technology and use it to our advantage. So video conferencing is used most often in boardrooms or classrooms when you're wanting to connect with an outside source, whether it be another classroom or another office somewhere. A lot of corporate a lot of corporate businesses have these systems in place because they need to speak with head office or other branches of their business. And so certainly video conferencing helps keep people connected, and that is ultimately, our mission behind what video conferencing is it's all about the experience of the quality of the experience.
Yeah.
Because if you're, we've all been on video calls where they're choppy or they're in and out, and the cameras are bad quality, and it's just not pleasant, right?
Yeah.
So ideally, we want to provide everyone with the absolute best, and make sure that the experience that even though you can't be together with that other person, that you feel like you're connected at least in some way.
Yeah. And last but not least, I mentioned this on last episode too, because it kind of goes hand in hand with everything you just talked about, is lighting. You offer
Yes.
a wide variety of lighting, pretty much anything that you can think of in lighting, Stephen can give you. So talk about your lighting a bit and what you offer on that.
For sure. So our lighting is very diverse as well, and it's for a wide variety of applications. But one of my favorites is architectural lighting,
Yeah.
and how you can transform the outside of an older building or a building that hasn't had a makeover in a little while. Lighting's an easy way to dynamically change the curb appeal of your building. And I absolutely love doing that. So if you see, and especially in larger cities, this is very popular with a lot of like high rises and older buildings especially, it seems. They use lighting to help transfer them and make them a bit more modern, give them a bit more of a flair.
Yeah.
And it's obviously a great way to customize your building based on an event you're hosting or a season, because at Christmas it can be red and green, at Halloween you can do orange. It's very versatile in regards to how you can dress up your building.
Yeah. And the same thing goes for restaurants and bars and all that kind of stuff too. Like you can really cater your lighting to
lighting underneath, the bar counters,
Yeah.
Shooting down, any lighting in the ceilings, you name it. When you want LED lighting in your space, and just have that, the ability to customize and create that atmosphere with lighting, we can certainly help you with that.
Yeah. And again, if you want more information on Stephen's installs and all this stuff, please go to his website at wolfeinstalls.com, and you'll find everything you need there. And if you have any more questions too, feel free to call Stephen or ask him some questions over social media, and he will definitely answer them.
Yes, please check us out on all social media platforms. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, you name it. Also check out our website, wolfeinstalls.com. If you have any questions for us, please leave them in the comments on this video. Find us on, you can send us a DM or a private message. You can submit a form on our website if you have any questions about our installation service or how we might be able to best serve you. If you got a little idea and something that you want to bring to life, don't hesitate. If it's just a thought, we'd love to talk through with you and see where we might be able to help you bring that vision to life in your space.
Yep, absolutely. And again, please ask some questions for either the install company or Wolf Sound and Music, or just for Stephen or me in general. Whether you're on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, please leave comments down below and we will answer them on future episodes. For this episode, we're signing off.
See you later.